Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we will be talking about some new polling and turnout data regarding the New York City mayoral race. Today is October 30th, 2025, and make sure to like and subscribe for more election news for the 2025 cycle. And there's just a couple days left, so let's get into this New York video. So we have a new poll from Quinnipiac today, and it is for New York City's mayor race. And you can see here, Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate, is still up, although he's down by 3 points compared to the last poll from September. So, actually, no, from October 3rd to 7th. But you see here, Andrew Cuomo stayed the same compared to the last poll. He is at 33%, and Curtis Sliwa lost 1% from the last poll, and undecideds are at 6%. So, Andrew Cuomo is down by 10%. This is actually not as bad as a poll for him as normal. He usually loses by like 20%, 15%. So this is actually not that bad. And I do want to compare this to the Suffolk poll that came out on October 27th. Zohran Mamdani lost 1% compared to the last poll from Suffolk in September. You see here, we'll check it out in a sec. And Andrew Cuomo gained 9%. Curtis Sliwa gained 2%. He's at 11%. And Andrew Cuomo still trails Zohran Mamdani by 10%, but that is a major jump in this poll, and 7% undecideds. So we compare these two polls together. Curtis Sliwa does worse in the Suffolk poll by 3%, and both Mamdani and Cuomo do better by 1% in the Suffolk poll. Let's compare this back to the September poll from Suffolk. You see here Mamdani was at 45, Cuomo was at 25. Yeah, he was down by 20%. He split that gap in half. This may have been because Eric Adams was still in the race at the time, because Eric Adams did drop out and eventually endorsed Andrew Cuomo, 8%. So that's just very interesting. And Curtis Sliwa was actually only at 9% in this poll. So, yeah, I would definitely say this is very good news for Andrew Cuomo, but once again, come on, Zohran Mamdani is the favorite in New York City. But I want to look at this for a sec, because we're going to have a poll tomorrow from Emerson Polling. Emerson Polling is a pretty good pollster, and they will be releasing a New Jersey and New York City poll tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, no, I'm recording this October 29th, Wednesday, so it'll release at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 30th. So, and they gave us a sneak peek of this poll. And it doesn't tell us much, but it tells us the white voter and black voter demographics for the New York City mayoral race. So, as you can see here, let's look at white voters. This is comparing the October to September poll from Emerson. White voters are at 47%. That's a 2-point gain for Mamdani since September. The other and undecideds have completely been wiped out. There's none of that. Andrew Cuomo gained 3% from September, and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican candidate, gained a whopping 9% from September, but that's kind of expected. So Mamdani is winning by 18% among white voters in this new poll. Last time, he was winning by 19%. And now all the undecideds are wiped out. Now let's look at black voters. Black voters voted for Andrew Cuomo during the primary. It was that was what resulted in him winning the Bronx in the primary. He won it by a whopping 18%. Mamdani has done a lot of connecting to black voters during the general election season, and that's definitely helped him a lot, kind of destroy Cuomo's gap among black voters. In September, he was already beating Cuomo by 25% among black voters. Sliwa only at 6% and undecideds at 19%. The undecideds are still at 9% and it has went down by 10. Mamdani has gained 21% since September among black voters. Cuomo has definitely fallen a lot, 10%, 25 to 15, and Sliwa went down 1%, 6 to 5. So, once again, good news for Zohran Mamdani among both black and white voters. Now let's look at the two polls we were talking about earlier. You see here, black voters, very interesting. It was actually much closer here. Actually, Mamdani was only up by 15% among black voters. And also, Cuomo in this Quinnipiac poll, he actually beat Mamdani among white voters by 5%. And Curtis Sliwa was at 19% among white voters, 6% among black voters. You compare this to this sneak peek of the Emerson poll. Very different. Very different. Black voters doing much better with Cuomo. Cuomo only loses black voters by 15% compared to 25% from the last poll. And let's look at the Suffolk poll. You can go here, I think. Suffolk. Yeah, I pulled up something here. You see here, black voters. Mamdani, he has black voters 55% from Mamdani. Curtis Sliwa only winning 2% of black voters in this poll, and Andrew Cuomo wins 25%. So Cuomo actually does really bad among black voters in this poll, but the thing is, there's actually quite a lot of undecideds in this poll among black voters compared to Suffolk. Emerson. This is Suffolk. Emerson, 9% undecideds in this poll. 18%, I believe, are undecideds. But the margin here from Mamdani is actually much larger. That he's winning black voters by 30% compared to Cuomo, 55 to 25. But you see here, he's down 16 to of this Emerson sneak peek, and Cuomo's only down by 10. So this is like very interesting. And let's look at white voters here. In this poll, you have Cuomo only down by 1 among white voters, 39 to 38, and Curtis Sliwa polling 16. And also in the Quinnipiac poll, Mamdani was actually down among Mamdani was actually down by 5 among white voters. So these racial demographics are really interesting to see in all of these polls. If this poll has some shocking result, I will definitely make a video on it. But once again, in these last couple of days before the general election, my video schedule is kind of filled up. But I might do multiple videos a day. So now let's go to some other breaking news. We have 2 new endorsements for Andrew Cuomo today, both from representatives from the state of New York. The first one is a Republican representative from a district that voted for him by 5%. That is Mike Lawler. Mike Lawler, he is from sort of a swing Republican district. I think he's in his second term, I believe. And previously, he had actually endorsed Republican candidate for mayor Curtis Sliwa. But now he sort of thinks that Sliwa has no chance. And if you look at polling, yeah, that's kind of true. So now he's calling Cuomo the lesser of 2 evils compared to Zohran Mamdani, and that is why he has endorsed Andrew Cuomo here. So I wouldn't be surprised if other Republicans broke ranks and actually endorsed Cuomo, but this is actually sort of surprising because a Republican normally doesn't break rank that much, especially a MAGA Republican like Mike Lawler, especially voting for someone who served in the Clinton administration, Andrew Cuomo, and was a Democratic governor who argued with Donald Trump a lot when he was governor. So that's actually really interesting. And even more shockingly, Democratic Representative Tom Suozzi, also from a swing district, he's on Long Island. He has also endorsed Andrew Cuomo for New York City Mayor. Tom Suozzi, he took George Santos' district after he was impeached. Suozzi, he won his district by around 3% in 2024, sort of a swing district as well. And he has criticized Zohran Mamdani a lot, as well as the other swing seat representative from New York's Long Island, I believe Laura Gillen. I'm surprised Laura Gillen actually didn't endorse Andrew Cuomo. Honestly, she might, because Laura Gillen has not endorsed Zohran Mamdani. She's also definitely ripped at Mamdani a lot, both Suozzi and Gillen. But this is actually really shocking because he is the first Democratic representative, I think Democratic congressperson, to endorse Andrew Cuomo so far. The endorsement list for Andrew Cuomo is actually not that bulky. Not many Republicans, not many Democrats are willing to break rank to endorse an independent for mayor. Even you have Hakeem Jeffries and Kathy Hochul, both very establishment Democrats from the state of New York have endorsed Zohran Mamdani. So right now, there's a couple New York officials left that have not endorsed Mamdani. Chuck Schumer, the senior senator from the state of New York. I think I don't know if I don't think Kirsten Gillibrand endorsed Zohran Mamdani, the other senator from the state of New York. But these two endorsements for Andrew Cuomo. I doubt that they are like actually gonna help him that much. The Schwazi one is mainly because if Mamdani's mayorship actually doesn't do that good, because there's a very low chance of actually having a high approval rating as a mayor compared to a governor, for example. So Schwazi is maybe just trying to distance himself from Zohran Mamdani just in case things go south. So moving on from that, I want to go look at some of this new turnout data from New York City. Let's go to this tab here. Day 5, October 29th, 2025, day 5 of early voting. You see here. So let's first look at the vote totals from the primary. Zohran Mamdani won by 18% in the most populous borough in New York City, and also the one with the most votes from the primary, Brooklyn. He won it by 18 points, and he only won Manhattan and Queens, the second and third largest boroughs, by 6 and 8%. Andrew Cuomo, like I said before, won African American voters in the Bronx by a lot, so that's why he won in the Bronx by 18%, the fourth largest borough. And Staten Island, the fifth and smallest borough, Andrew Cuomo only won by 8%. It's also the only Republican borough. So you see here, not many Democrats. That's why there's like barely even, almost not even 30,000 votes here. But right now, in the first couple of days, actually, you actually had less votes coming in from Brooklyn than Manhattan during the weekend. But in these last 3 weekdays, I guess Brooklyn does now have the most votes. Brooklyn and Manhattan have both surpassed 100,000 votes in this early in-person voting. 372,111 people have voted so far. Staten Island, their votes haven't even passed the primary, which is very interesting, because Staten Island, because like you'd expect Staten Island to already have more than the primary, because Staten Island is majority Republican, so that's actually really interesting. But right now, if you do want to compare this to the 2021 results from day 5, you can see here, when you compare this in total, 513%, a 413% increase from 2021. That is the turnout difference. Only 62% compared to 2024. Not unexpected, because 2024 was a presidential year, and this is just a stupid off-year election in the world. So in America's largest city. And when you compare this to the Democratic primary for the first days of 5 days of early voting, 221%. So actually looking very good. The reason why there's so much compared to 2021 is because 2021 was not competitive at all. You had a Democrat, Eric Adams, going up against Republican, same candidate this time around as well, Curtis Sliwa. So that's why it's not competitive at all. But when you compare the boroughs, this is what I really want you to see. What was the order of the strongest boroughs for Mamdani? Brooklyn, Queens, and then Manhattan. If you look here, what's the order for the largest turnout increases? Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. What was the strongest boroughs for Andrew Cuomo in the primary? You see here, Bronx was the strongest. Staten Island was also Cuomo also won Staten Island, but not by double digits. You see here, the Staten Island is fourth, and the Bronx is in last. So you're seeing Andrew Cuomo's strongest boroughs having the least amount of turnout increases, only 246 and 58% increases, while you see 408% increase in Manhattan that voted for Zohran Mamdani by 6%, a 447% increase in Queens, which voted for Mamdani by 8%, and in Brooklyn, a 536% increase in Brooklyn, where he won by 18%. So you look here, the vote shares right now. You see here that in 2021, it was actually the Bronx. It was actually kind of proportional, but you see here in the Bronx, 12.2%. In 2025, the Bronx is only 8%. Brooklyn, the strongest borough for you see the percentage differences compared 2021 to 2025. The Bronx 12.2%, down to only 8% of the turnout share. 25.5%, a massive increase in Brooklyn, Mamdani's strongest borough, a 10.5% increase to 36%. Manhattan, a 2.7% increase. I believe Mamdani's third strongest borough. Queens actually went down, surprisingly. I think that's just because of how much turnout in Brooklyn. Still very interesting because I feel like Brooklyn just took in so much. Oh, actually, no, this was a primary. I'm so sorry. You see here. Let's actually compare it to the general right now. Bronx went down by 4%. Cuomo's strongest borough. Brooklyn 25.5%. Went up by 6%. That was big. His strongest borough for Zohran Mamdani went up by 6%. Brooklyn, Manhattan 30.2%. This one actually went down. That's surprising, but you still see here the percentages increases compared to 21, still big in Manhattan compared to the other two. And you see a massive fall in Staten Island, 3.2% decrease to only 7.4. And in Queens, you see here 21.6 to 23.0. So you see a massive increase in the vote share in Brooklyn. So that is actually very, very interesting. So you're seeing when you just look at these percentage increases per borough, you see a very, very good scenario for Zohran Mamdani. So I hope you enjoyed this video with all the polling, all the data, all the news and stuff. So make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed this and press the notifications on my live stream for November 4th, 2025, the mega election night for 2025. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye.